diagnostics. If y'all want to do that, call the roll clerk.
Mayor, you asked for discussion, then I tried to speak and you start talking. So can I?
No, I didn't start talking. Y'all didn't hear you say anything. But if you want to say something, just ask to be recognized again.
Well, can
if
I
we
be
gonna run this business the way it's supposed to, let's be respectable. Follow Robert rules of order. So go ahead, since you got something to say now.
I do have something to say. It's an electronic warrantless electronic. Also, you made it very clear that these have been paid. Last meeting, which I said, and the finance director wasn't here at that time, but I'm so glad she's here now. She stated that we didn't have a credit card anymore because she said the trustees cut it off. So, okay. So if we don't have, I requested in the email, could we get the final statement? Because if we haven't received the credit card since May of 2023, and she stated that we cut it off, no documentation has showed that it's been cut off. So what card are they using outside of ACH debits?
Okay, before you start, I'm gonna give you the flow. Let's clear some things up. You guys did cut it off. When? You guys, hold on, I'm gonna explain it so you'll know. You guys had control of the bank account the trustee house did illegally, and Clerk Key went illegally and hijacked the bank account for an entire year. You know, like I know, anybody that understand money know that you cannot see anybody's information when someone else is on the bank account.
That means the credit card. Hold on. Credit card.
That's what I'm speaking of. Well, you gonna let me finish?
Go ahead.
That's what I said. We got to be respectful. You say your stuff, I'll be quiet. You got to be quiet when I talk. So what I'm saying to you is that if you guys have done that, which y'all did as trustees, no one up here could see anything that y'all was doing for an entire year. We didn't have access to anything because Jason House was on the bank account, and so was Allison Key. The mayor wasn't on it. So we couldn't call, check up, check in, see what was going on because you guys was the holders on the account. So that's number one. Number two, I'm going to let her respond to your question because you get here at a board meeting and you know how to pick up the phone, call my phone. Hopefully you'll do that this year since you said you want to change and you want us to work together. It had to start by starting Trustee Belcher. You can't sit here and say that out your mouth and then don't do it. So we're going to see what happened because you could have called if you had questions. Instead of coming, put on the same show we just did for an entire year. Y'all should be tired of that. Y'all should be ready to actually do some progress here in the village besides sit here and we arguing over warrant list. Come on now.
Y'all could have called and asked questions. Yeah, well, Tiffany, they're going to be asking questions in court now, and it looks like you are cornered. What is up, gang? Carlton Flowers here with the Go Political channel. And I wanted to give you this update and share with you all the information that I have dug up. I've still been doing a lot of research on this case, and I got a lot to go through and share with you to let you know why I think that Tiffany Henyard is cornered. She's not going to get out of this anytime soon, and I'm going to explain to you exactly why. And I wanted to get all this done before I go on vacation. I'm headed down to the sunny Sunshine State of Florida for a week, and I will be going live and doing some vertical videos from the phone while I'm there. But tonight, we're going to cover everything. So we have the facts and we understand where the situation, where it stands right now. I've got a lot of notes, so hang in there with me, and I'm just going to put the reading glasses on here and run through all of these details. So first, we're going to go over the background and the hearing details, the stuff that we went through on the last video. Then we're going to talk about Judge Morland's ruling. We're going to get into that $1,000 a day fine. And then what you all want to know is, and to be clear on, is what the outcome is and what the next steps are. So then we're going to review all of this mess about Tiffany Henyard pleading the fifth. So her lovely lawyer, Mr. Bo Brindley, decided that it was a smart idea for her to plead the fifth. Then we're going to get into the judge's point of view in what this judge is looking at and considering. And then we'll look at the watchdog's point of view. The, what's the name of them? The Edgar County Watchdogs. And I'm going to give you some critical points with that. And then we'll get into the amended affidavit that was filed and is under review and what is going to become of it. All right, so here we go. Let's just jump back into the background. So we had a hearing. And we had the update on June the 10th, 2025. And the court hearing was centered on the FOIA, FOIA, Freedom of Information Act lawsuit involving former Stupor Mayor Tiffany Henyard and her attorney, Bo Brindley, who's representing her and trying to figure out a way to wiggle out of this thing. And you got the Edgar County Watchdogs who are on her behind. And basically, they had a few things to say about the affidavit that was filed. And Judge Caroline K. Morland provided a response. So the hearing was on June 11th, and that was via Zoom. And that addressed the affidavit that Brindley filed on June the 9th, as promised during the June the 6th hearing, where she actually shocked the world and showed up. I still love the memory of her walking through that courtroom, through the hallways.
We don't have any comment right now. Once the court appearance is over.
Once you serve the matter
Thank you.
of the lawsuit coming to 20, or serve.
So on June 9th, 2025, Bo Brindley files the affidavit on behalf of Stupor Mayor Tiffany Henyard, stating that she doesn't possess the document that was requested by the Edgar County Watchdogs. And that was the document that she claimed during that January 2024 board meeting, where she accuses the trustees of canceling her credit card. And she said, I got proof. She holds up this piece of paper and then quickly puts it away. Well, the Edgar County Watchdogs want that piece of paper. So they did a Freedom of Information Act request. Now, so since she couldn't find it, the judge said, well, you better get it or I'm going to fine you $1,000 a day until you have it. And if you don't want to submit that information, you're going to have to give an affidavit stating that, it doesn't exist. So the affidavit detailed Henyard's search efforts. Okay, so this is how she looked for this non-existent document. So she had to search through her emails for terms like credit card, cancel credit card, all of the correspondence with Jason House and the trustees, and village administrator Charles Walls to locate the document. And nobody responded saying that they had any idea of where the document was because it doesn't exist. And so then in the affidavit, she basically states, I have no other mechanisms through which to seek a single document, the content of which I simply do not recall. Now, she conveniently doesn't even recall the document after she shot her mouth off in that board meeting. But that's what she gets for running her mouth. Now, Edgar County Watchdogs, they come back and respond on June the 11th. So the Watchdogs attorney, led by Edward Coach Winehouse, filed a response arguing that the affidavit was deficient and it should be disregarded, thrown out the window, crumpled up, and tossed into a trash can because that it lacked a certificate of perjury, which is required for legal validity under Illinois law, and that it failed to include the specific steps that she took to comply with the FOIA request while she was the Stupor Mayor. All right. Let's see here. What do we have? It had to have her actions that she took to locate or potentially destroy the document during her tenure. And then the Edgar County Watchdogs argued that the recent search that she claimed that she did was completely insufficient. As of the court's March 5th, 2025 order, which required the details of the search efforts dating back to the original FOIA request in January of 2024. All right, moving on. The ruling. Judge Morland's ruling. All right. So on June the 11th, during the June 11th Zoom hearing, Judge Caroline K. Morland did not accept the affidavit as filed, deeming it was insufficient due to the deficiencies noted by the watchdogs. Okay, so some of you would think, well, that means the $1,000 fine kicks in, but not so fast. Instead of rejecting it outright, she ordered Bo Brindley to file an amended affidavit to address the issues, the deficiencies. So the $1,000 a day fine, which began on May 30th, remained in effect, meaning that at that time, Tiffany owed $8,000 in fines as of June the 10th. And then Morland's decision indicates that she found the affidavit lacking in specificity and credibility, particularly regarding Henyard's search efforts during her time as mayor. In other words, she didn't believe that she tried at all. She knows that she just whiffed and was like, I'm not looking for anything that doesn't exist, because why would I waste my time? Because I was lying the whole all along. I was lying about it. Now, outcome and the next steps. What does this mean? So Brindley agrees to file the amended affidavit to meet the court's requirements, stating, we can try to fix this thing so we can get it resolved, which is in everybody's best interest. Oh, really, Bo? Is that right? Now, the Watchdog's attorney, Winehouse, confirmed that the fines will continue until an acceptable affidavit is filed. That's what they said. Keep that money, keep the fines rolling. But, however, no specific deadline for the amended affidavit or a new hearing date was provided in the sources. But the case remains active, all right? That's why I think that she is cornered. And she's got the watchdogs pushing for compliance and Morland maintaining pressure through the contempt order and the fines. Okay? So she's not wiggling out of it, even though there's no date that's given. There's no exit, no back door, no wiggle room. All right, so let's talk about this whole Fifth Amendment thing. Now, Tiffany's position in the Fifth Amendment, her invocation of the Fifth Amendment on June the 6th, 2025, due to an ongoing federal investigation into her financial conduct while being the stupor mayor, totally complicates this case. It just throws a wrench in everything. It makes it very convoluted, all right? So, yeah, it's legally permissible for her to plead the Fifth. But here's the thing. It raises skepticism about her claim of not possessing the document, especially since she publicly displayed it during that board meeting. She held it up there when she was shooting her mouth off. I've always said that she runs her mouth and it would get her in trouble in the future. If you look back on all my old videos, what do I always say? There's gold in them thar hills. There's gold in the Dalton board meeting archives. All you got to do is dig back. She has done and said so many things that we can connect all the DOTTS. We can connect the dots with all the information that we need that implicates her for all of the wrongdoing. Okay? So I just think that pleading the Fifth makes it kind of obvious that you're guilty of a lot more than just this, because she doesn't want to get herself screwed when it comes to the FBI investigation and sitting in that federal court. All right, let's move it right along. Let's talk about Judge Morland's views. Judge Morland handling this case reflects a balanced but firm stance. Okay, so she hasn't really disappointed me. I mean, everybody wants her to just, drop the hammer right now. But when you do things prematurely, it can open up the door for her to wiggle out. And I think that by standing back and giving them enough rope to hang themselves, they're going to do that. So she's saying, okay, this affidavit is garbage. I'm throwing it in the trash, but I'm going to let you amend it. They're giving them more time to come up with lies because the next one is going to dig the hole deeper. That's another reason why she's cornered, because what is she going to come up with in an amended affidavit but more lies, stuff that she can't back up? Okay, so by allowing the amended affidavit rather than escalating the sanctions, for example, issuing a body attachment, that's an arrest warrant, as the May 23rd order had threatened, she's giving Tiffany, the stupid mayor, an opportunity to comply while upholding the FOIA transparency requirements. Her prior rulings, including the contempt order for repeated and flagrant violations of the court orders, okay, you know, all of those the 80 other FOIA requests that she did not comply with, all right, that kind of shows how unlikely it is that the judge is going to accept something vague or incomplete, because Tiffany has already got a track record for not complying with FOIA requests. All right, what about the Edgar County Watchdogs? Well, they're still keeping an aggressive stance, and they're leveraging their history of successful FOIA lawsuits against Dalton and the Thornton Township. So their insistence that the document does exist is based on Stupor Mayor's public display, shooting her mouth off and holding it up during the board meeting. It's right there in the archives. You can see her do it. All right. And so they reject the affidavit as, deficient, and the judge agreed with that. And that suggests that they're going to continue to challenge Tiffany. They're going to keep the heat on and potentially seek further discovery or depositions of the village staff. So they're not going away anytime soon. They're not going away. She can't buy them off. I mean, she's broke. What's she going to do? She going to bribe them with what? Chitlins? Some food boxes? Oh, gosh. All right. Now, there's a critical point here why this affidavit was deficient. It's because of the failure to include the perjury certificate, which undermines its legal weight, as Illinois law requires sworn statements to be verifiable. There you have it. That's a critical point. That's what paints her into the corner. That's why there's no getting out of this. She's stumped. She's stumped. So the judge just gave them more rope, because when they file that amended affidavit, all right, they're going to have to put that perjury certificate with it, which states, okay, I'm under oath with these statements that I'm making. So when they provide more excuses and lies, because there's no way they're going to justify this, it's going to just put more charges on her. It's digging the hole. It's digging the hole. All right. Now, amended affidavit. So it's filed. It's under review. Brindley, but we don't know if Brindley actually, turned it in. So he may have filed the affidavit after June 11th. We don't know. Addressing the perjury certificate, addressing the details that she left out, her search efforts, all of that. And so if he actually did, and again, we don't know, Judge Morland could be reviewing it right now, and there could be a ruling pending. But now here's the thing, guys. The $1,000 daily fine will likely continue. So as of today, this is June the 27th, we're at $28,000. Oh yeah, 28 grand. And the only way that she's going to get out of this 28 grand is if Judge Morland accepts the affidavit and lifts the contempt of court order. All right. But I think if they had a really legit excuse, we would have heard about it by now. So that means it doesn't exist and the fine isn't going away. All right. So let's say if no amended affidavit has been filed. So if Brindley failed to file the amended affidavit, the fines continue, and then Tiffany's at risk for further sanctions, which could be that body attachment. All right, we mentioned that in the May 23rd order. But again, Morland's decision to allow the amended affidavit suggests that she prefers coercive measures over immediate escalation. That's why I say she's giving them rope. She's giving them rope, giving them more rope. And I'm telling you what, as dumb as the stupor mayor is, she's going to hang herself. Because what else can she do? So let's say, what if the case is stalled? Or what if it's settled quietly out of court? What if she settles? Well, the case could be stalled if Brindley, the attorney, delays the filing, or if negotiations between Tiffany and the Watchdogs happens. But how are they going to negotiate? Do you think the Watchdogs are wanting to back off? Now, the Watchdogs aren't some for-profit company. It's not an individual that you can buy off and say, hey, I'll give you $100,000. Let's settle out of court. That's not happening. That's not happening because that's not the job of the Watchdogs. Their job is to force transparency. They don't want money. They want to know where that document is or her admission that she lied. Okay, so they're going to keep the heat on. They're probably going to be getting a hold of village employees and continuing to put the pressure on. They're probably going to confirm that that document was bull crap, and the fines are probably going to continue. So I don't see this case stalling, and I don't see any chance that this is going to settle. So that's where we stand right there. Now, what do you think? Do you think that she's going to wiggle off of this hook? Do you think that she's going to get out of this? Do you think the judge can be bought off? Is she going to accept this amended affidavit of nonsense? Post your comments. Let me know. I don't think the judge is going to accept it. Now, a lot of people think, well, she's a Democrat judge. She's going to hold the party line and let her off the hook. We already covered that in the last video. If you didn't see it, watch the last video. I have in a section in that video where we're talking about the judge's background. And yeah, she's a Democrat, but I don't see any evidence that she's putting the party above doing her job. And I don't think that this judge is going to risk her professional reputation to save the most criminal, crooked, corrupt Democrat mayor in the history of the world. I don't see it happening. So let me know how she's going to wiggle out. And this is just one FOIA FOIA. This is one FOIA lawsuit. We still got the other 80 that she hasn't responded to. We still got the FBI investigation. And we still have the misappropriation of funds. And I promise you, I've been very busy lately, but the explainer video on how you can raid the federal government for grant money to stuff your pockets full of cash is still coming. And you're going to love this, where I tell you a story about a fictitious mayor. What was her name? Tiffany Mudhen. I can't remember her name. I'll have to go back and look at my notes, but you're going to get that story. It'll probably be a couple weeks. So when I get back after the first week of July is in the history book, second week of July, I'm going to get that video done. So you want to like, comment, tick the notification bell. And again, I'll come back and hit y'all up when I'm on vacation, but I just wanted to get this out there so we have the facts. We have a good understanding without all of the conjecture and all of the nonsense. This is actually what's going on. Well, that's all I got for this one, guys. Thanks for being here. I will see you very soon. This is Carlton, and I am out.